High Horror Society. It's the High Horror Society. Oh yeah. It's the High Horror Society.
Welcome to the High Horror Society. We have Zach and Kyle here, and we just got done watching 2007's Trick or Treat.
Trick or
Treat.
Tricker.
So yes, let's get right into it. So Trick or Treat,
Shiz.
obviously a 2007 Halloween anthology movie. It's got a bit of a cult following, and we know we're a little late for the Halloween bus, but we decided,
Yeah.
hey, what the heck? It's still Halloween is still kind of in the air. It's still cold and rainy, and
We're only
leaves
5 days
all out.
into
We're
November.
only- yeah,
It's
by
fine.
the time we post this, it'll be whenever. But I think it's still people still have their decorations up and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
I
felt
mean, I do.
fitting.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's-
We're still well in the midst of Halloween.
I
So
say it's still Halloween until it's Thanksgiving.
there you go. I like that thought process. Definitely that works. So yes, the cast of Halloween. Dylan Baker plays Principal Wilkins. Anna Paquin is Laurie, and the famous Brian Cox is Mr. Krieg. And Quinn Lord as Sam, or / Peeping Tom. It says right here.
Peeping
So
Tom.
yeah, it
We
must have
all
been
know one of those.
we're all one of those.
Oh
Whoa. So the movie was written and directed by Michael Dougherty. He's also the writer and director of the Krampus from a year or two ago.
Cool.
The upcoming Godzilla sequel, Godzilla King of Monsters. He was also writer on X2, the sequel to X-Men, Superman Returns, and X-Men Apocalypse,
Dang.
unfortunately.
This guy's been everywhere.
He has, and it was produced by Bryan Singer, who obviously famous director. He did the Usual Suspects. He did Apt Pupil. He did X-Men, X-Men 2, Superman Returns, Valkyrie, Jack the Giant Slayer, the excellent X-Men Days of Future Past, and the god-awful X-Men Apocalypse. I don't know how those two movies... I don't know how X-Men Days of Future Past was... and I don't know how X-Men Apocalypse followed that. Like, X-Men Apocalypse, have you seen it?
I don't know.
It's a turd show. It's terrible. But either way. And then the new Queen or Freddie Mercury movie or Queen biopic. I don't know if it's a Freddie Mercury biopic or not. Bohemian Rhapsody, which is out in theaters right now. So
Yep. Just came out, right?
It
Not
did.
too long ago.
I think it just came out last week, actually.
Nice.
So the synopsis for Trick or Treat is a 2007 American anthology horror comedy film written, directed by Michael Dougherty, and produced by Bryan Singer. The film stars Dylan Baker, Anna Paquin, and Brian Cox. It relates 4 Halloween horror stories with a common element in Sam, a mysterious child trick-or-treater wearing shabby orange footy pajamas and a burlap sack over his head. The character makes an appearance in each of the stories whenever a character breaks with Halloween traditions. So, and a little note here, despite being delayed for 2 years and having a small number of public screenings, the film has received much critical acclaim and has since garnered a strong cult following.
Yeah.
Which I would say it has.
Definitely. I'm a part of that cult now.
Now you're a part of that cult, too.
It was great.
It's and we'll talk about this more, obviously, but it is one, and we talked about this earlier. It's one of those movies where you could watch it every Halloween.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like,
yeah.
it's one of those where you just have fun watching it. The crazy shit
Yeah.
that happens, the funny things that come up. It's
So
one of
much
those.
fun.
It is. It was a lot of fun. We were laughing our asses off fucking watching this thing. It was great. So it is on my list of every year. We watch Halloween, obviously, and now Trick or Treat, and probably now the new Halloween that came out, because that was pretty fucking cool.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's just one of those that you keep in the rotation. So, and Krampus is another holiday horror film. So that's one we watch for Christmas at my house too. The kids love it. It's one of those that the kids can watch, kind of like Gremlins and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's
it's
great.
like it has its scary moments. It is kind of intense at parts, but if you're, my kids are pretty.
They love it.
They
Probably.
do love this. They do love it. Even Aiden, who's not a big fan, still enjoys it. So, so some of the taglines for this movie. Out of all the movies we've reviewed, I think this has the most taglines out of any of them that I've ever seen. So,
All right.
Are you ready for these taglines?
I'm ready.
Poison, drowning, claw, or knife. So many ways to take a life.
Ooh.
If you don't follow the rules tonight, you won't live to see tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
You better watch out. I'm telling you why. Sam is coming to town.
Oh,
no.
That's good.
And then the final one, they were started to protect us. So
I like that one.
I like that one. I honestly, like, out of all of the ones there, the ones
Wait,
that
what
makes
was
the
the
most
last
sense.
one?
The last one was they were started to protect us. So like the Halloween tradition. So
Oh.
I gotta say, for as much as I
All
love the
right.
movie, all 4 taglines are kind of shitty. I
Yeah.
could have come up with something way better, especially the fucking poison, drowning, claw, or knife. So many ways to take a life. I guess that's kind of fun. That
Even
plays
the
on the
other
whole
one.
like, you know, the kids having fun with trick or treat,
True.
nursery rhyme kind of stuff. But
The Christmas one's kind of lame. The Sam.
Yeah,
What
it is.
What-
The Sam is coming to town. What the fuck is that? Like, I don't know. I think at one
Oh,
point they
man.
tried to really, because like the story of this movie, and we'll get into it a little bit. Like, I think they really tried to like push Sam as like one of the next like quintessential Halloween characters that you see, like
Oh.
Michael Myers, Chucky. Like, they think they were trying to make him like one of those iconic horror
Yeah,
guys.
I don't think he'll get up there to that, but he'll probably he'll be all right.
I think he'll be all right.
He'll survive.
Yeah, and we'll get into it more again. I keep saying that, and we should probably just start getting into it, huh? But yeah, there's some little tidbits in here in my notes that we'll talk about that has more to do with Sam, as awesome as he is. So anyway, Halloween. We're going on into our fun facts now.
Fun facts.
Should we start doing like a bum 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 fun facts?
Fun facts with Zach and Kyle.
What's up, yo? No. Okay, we're not doing that. So anyway, this whole movie started from this little short animated film by Michael Dougherty called Season's Greetings. And as I said, it's a short animated film created by the Trick or Treat director. It was made in 1996, and it's a precursor, basically, to this Trick or Treat film.
Oh.
The film featured Sam as a little boy dressed in orange footy pajamas with a burlap sack covering his head, and he's stalked by a stranger. He's stalked by a stranger on Halloween night. Apparently, the short was released as a DVD extra on the Trick or Treat DVD and aired on FearNet on October 2013 as a part of a 24-hour Trick or Treat Halloween movie marathon.
Cool.
So I bet you if we looked at that Blu-ray, and we did watch a Blu-ray tonight,
We did.
everybody.
Back
so
to the blue.
we actually watched a physical movie tonight. I bet you that the extra is probably on there. We should probably take a look at
That'd
that.
be cool. Yeah, let's check that out. I love that intro in the movie with all the animation and
Yeah,
stuff.
the
Like that
comics.
was the comic
Right.
was that was
That
cool.
was really cool. The film was filmed. The filming location. So it was filmed on location in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Oh, cool.
It was originally slated for an October 2007 theatrical release. It was announced in September 2007, and the film was pushed back several times. After many festival screenings, the movie was finally released on video in 2009. So
Nice.
it was theatrically released at least on festival screenings around 2007, and didn't actually come out on video until 2009. So that's kind of crazy.
Why would it take so long?
I'm not sure. We'll get into it. Let's see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll Google that.
We'll Google that. I'm sure I cover it in here. So anyway, the first public screening of the film took place at Harry Knowles Butt Numb-a-thon Film Festival in Austin, Texas, on December 9th, 2007.
But no.
Butt Numb-a-thon.
That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah, I think Harry Knowles is that Ain't It Cool News guy. I think he started that website, if I'm not mistaken.
Sweet.
It says here that subsequent screenings included the Sturgis Film Festival on October 7th, 2008, 2000 Scream Fest Film Festival, and there was a free screening in New York sponsored by Fangoria on October 13th, 2008, and another free screening in Los Angeles co-sponsored by Ain't It Cool News and Legendary Pictures on October 23rd, 2008. So if we had a time machine, we could go back and see all of those screenings.
Well, we are in luck
Yes, so
because I do.
you do. What the hell are we doing this podcast for? Let's go fucking
Oh man,
bet on some sporting events, Back to the Future 2 style.
that's a good idea.
That is a great idea, actually. The film was also screened at the 2009 San Diego Comic-Con, the Fantasia Festival on July 29th, and the Festival of Terror. Terror in the Isles 2 in Chicago on August 15th, 2009.
Cool.
And the After Dark Film Festival in Toronto on August 20th, 2009. Holy crap, that's a
Wow.
lot of festivals that this
No wonder
thing
it takes so
made around.
long to come out in video.
Yeah, no
It's in
shit. So
festival
from like
time.
2008, from 2007 December of 2007 all the way up until August of 2009, this thing made the rounds at the film festival.
Hell
So
yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
doing a tour.
Yeah, no shit. So this I thought was an interesting little fun fact. So there's actually like I was saying earlier, they kind of tried to make Sam like this other like iconic, horror movie icon, and so they started releasing a bunch of merchandise for him. So there's little vinyl figures you can get.
cool.
There's one that's a 15-inch one. It says here there's also a 5.5-inch scale figure as well. Let's see. There is a 108-page coffee table book entitled Trick or Treat: Tales of Mayhem, Mystery, and Mischief. It documents the making of the film and includes storyboards, concept art, and cast and crew biographies, and a a lot of behind the scenes photographs. So
Nice. That
that is-
sounds cool.
it does sound kind of cool. It's all the merchandise you can get from this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I think one of my friends actually bought the Sam collectible when it came out. My buddy Christian, I believe,
Cool.
has it. So I'll have to ask him. Maybe he could send us a picture of it and we could post it on our
Yeah.
on social media.
We'll pretend it's ours.
We'll pretend it's ours. I'll give him credit, of course. I always give credit where credit is due.
For sure.
Yeah. So DC Comics, with a partnership with Wildstorm Comics, plan to release a 4-issue adaptation of Trick or Treat.
Nice.
Yeah. The series was originally going to be released weekly, starting in October 2007 and ending on Halloween. But the series was pushed back due to the film being pushed back. So the 4 comics were instead released as a solid graphic novel in 2009. So again, they had a comic plan, probably ties into like you mentioned, the intro had a lot of the animation and comic scenes in it. Sounds like that was a whole part of the marketing campaign that kind of didn't
That's
come
pretty
to
cool.
fruition as much as they would have liked, which is kind of upsetting. The movie's really good, so it would have been nice to see how it kind of turned out. I know things don't always go according to plan, and granted it has a cult following now, but it would have been nice to interesting to see how it would have all kind of unfolded. But hey, you live with what you got, right? Legendary Comics, it says here, set so this is what we were talking about earlier. So there's apparently a second series of comics
Cool.
that Legendary Comics released called Trick or Treat: Days of the Dead, and that was released on October 15th. So
Nice.
we should check that out.
Yeah.
That might be kind of interesting to see. Maybe we'll continue the journey of Sam and see what's going on there.
Come on, Sam.
And then this was kind of cool. So in 2016, the director and Legendary Pictures teamed up with an FX studio to create a series of digital Halloween decorations that feature Sam.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. So we could get some digital Halloween decorations of
Hell
Sam
yeah.
if we just are so inclined. And then in 2017, a Trick or Treat themed scare zone was added to the Halloween Horror Nights event, which is held at Universal Studios Florida.
Oh, damn.
Pretty cool, right?
That's pretty
so,
cool.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
so it's definitely
growing.
It's growing.
That's cool. That's
Slowly
cool.
but surely over the years, it's
Yeah.
gained this kind of.
It's been about 10, 11 years now.
Yeah.
Like, that's
It's been about 10 years.
steady growth.
It's aged pretty well, actually. Like, I was surprised. Like, usually when you watch movies, even from a couple of years ago, just because with like smartphones and stuff like that, just looking at someone using a cell phone can really date like the
True.
movie. And like, they didn't do a whole lot of that. There was the one scene with the girls using the cell phones, and you could tell like they were using like the big old brick kind of phones. But like, that was a very small. That could easily be, just
True.
you could chalk that up to one of your friends just being like, "Oh, I don't do the whole smartphone thing. I just go with the flip phone. I have my clamshell." You know?
Those things were tough, dude. They
Dude,
could
those-
still
oh,
those
man.
Nokia ones. Ooh,
Hell yeah, all of those phones,
the
man.
Nextel beep beep
Dude,
Bumblebee.
those things were built like a
Yeah.
brick shit house. I don't know, man. Those things were crazy.
Now I got these fragile things.
Yeah,
that
now you
break when
drop them and the
'em.
screen cracks, and you have to pay Apple $200 for a new fucking
God.
screen. But either way, so in 2009, Michael Dougherty announced that he was planning a sequel. Leaders stated, no, there's been no active development or nor an attempt to pitch. He went on to say that the more fans continue to support and spread the movie, the more likely it is that Sam will rise from the pumpkin patch once more.
Oh.
He helped create the director helped create a short promotional Easter trailer for FearNet's Trick or Treat 24-hour marathon for Halloween 2011. That's kind of cool. So they did an Easter promo.
Nice.
That's interesting. I wonder if I bet you Sam was probably a part of that. Oh, here it goes. The trailer showed a family's Easter celebration turning into one of horror, with Sam watching the chaos outside while eating rabbit ears. Ew. Oh, while wearing rabbit ears, not eating. I'm sorry. So Sam comes in and he protects your holiday tradition. So don't fuck with Sam.
I like that.
I like that too.
Keeps everybody in line.
It does.
It's kind of like the government.
It is kind of like Sam is just like the government. He's a little
Yes.
pumpkin patch guy
Little
that
mind
comes and
control
takes your money.
pumpkin patch guy.
And then in October of 2013, it was officially announced that there would be a sequel titled Trick or Treat 2. The director said he has plans to shake it up a little bit with a sequel. And then in October 2017, the director said, "My hope that once Godzilla is done and put to rest, I can dive back into it. I would love to
Yes.
finish writing it in post-production of Godzilla, and then I'd love to make it my next project, but we'll see." So, yeah, finish that fucking Godzilla
Get
movie and
that
get on making Trick or
Godzilla
Treat 2.
out here.
Because I am chomping at the bit for it. Because I think now more than ever,
Mhm.
especially with the success of Halloween this year and
yeah.
everything, I think, horror movies have kind of had this recent resurgence, especially within mainstream. Like, look at how many horror TV shows there are now.
True.
Like, just like within, it really started with like True Blood and Walking Dead and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But now every network has like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And
now the Sabrina has gone dark.
Right, yeah. Now Sabrina's gone like totally
Oh,
goth
Sabrina,
chick type
yeah.
of thing. It's just so weird. So there's we're kind of tapping into our darker side a little bit more
Mhm.
now, which I'm definitely not opposed to because obviously
Keeps
it
us
means more
busy.
podcast fodder, right?
Yeah. more. we need
more shit we get to watch. And It's
Yes.
just really an excuse to get away from the wives for a night, right? Did I say that on air?
You
Shit.
did.
All right. Sorry,
All right,
honey, if
we'll
you're
edit
listening.
that out.
Yeah,
No.
cut that part out.
No,
Yeah,
I'll forget to.
You know we don't fucking edit this
No.
thing.
I listened to the beginning of the podcast
And then the end of it?
and sounds. Oh, it sounds good. All
Whatever
right.
happens in the middle is
Good.
all anybody's game, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. So, did you notice any fuck ups? Let's jump into the oopsies.
Trying to
Oopsie
think of
daisy.
the oopsies.
I'm hard pressed to think of any.
I did, but then you pointed out like, just wait, because like the timeline jumps
Right.
around. I'm like, wait, like
Yeah.
I remember seeing this, but it didn't happen yet,
Yeah.
and then it did. So, not that I can remember, because
Right.
I
Yeah,
was
there's-
focusing on that the whole time.
There's not many here. There's 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I'll read them, and you might go like, oh yeah. And I don't know really. They're definitely fuck ups, but well, I'll just read them. Fuck it. Here we
All
go.
right.
In the scene with the bus driver, oh shit, did I just spoil it? Oh well.
Yeah.
At the end, when he loads the shotgun, it makes the sound of a pump action shotgun, but it's clearly a hammer action shotgun. So he puts the things in, and he goes like this, and
okay,
it does like
okay.
the noise, but it doesn't have a. It doesn't. Yeah,
It's
wouldn't-
just one,
not
like,
a pump action. So.
That's-
When the high school principal is making the jack-o'-lantern with the bully, the knife makes the sound of brushing against metal, which wouldn't happen
Yeah.
while you're making the jack-o'-lantern. I
The
thought that was
shing.
just done for like,
I thought that too.
yeah, it was a little weird, but I thought it was done more for dramatic effect. To be like, shing, you know, like this
It
kid.
made me laugh.
It
Like,
did make me
oh.
laugh. Yeah, I mean, it was clearly meant to be ridiculous. So
I
I don't
think
even
so.
know if I would count that as an oopsie. So whoever wrote that, you ruined my podcast.
Yeah, get out of
Um,
here. You're not wanted.
Here's a continuity error. At one scene, the old man gets a glass splinter in his hand, and he's unable to hold the shotgun or close the door. But as soon as the first attack is over, and it cuts to his hands, the cuts on his hands suddenly disappear, and he's now able to slam the door for help, grab the shotgun, and perform a bunch of other things without any
True.
harm to his hands. So
That is true.
yeah, interesting.
Maybe
is
it
true.
was just like glass candy.
Yeah.
He just ate it off his hand. It wasn't really inside his hand. It was just sticking to his hand.
Yeah, maybe they even shot the scenes like differently, and they put them together in the end, you know.
True.
And this that could have happened too. But
That's probably what happened.
that's probably is what it's a movie. Yeah, it's it's a movie about a demon little pumpkin boy that comes in.
It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, it is perfect.
It's the
Stop
Goldberg
looking
Pumpkin
for-
Kid.
Yeah, stop picking apart my favorite movie here. When Steve extends the bowl of candy to Sam, the principal, all the candy is below the top of the bowl. However, when Sam takes some candy, he takes the candy bar that is sticking out of the bowl. Okay,
All right.
great. So when he holds it to him, there's no candy at the top of the bowl, but apparently when it shows him taking it, there's a candy bar sticking out. Who watches for this kind of shit? Jesus Christ.
That's
That's a little nitpicky on there. I'm going to call, I don't know. It could have been a weird lighting thing. Apparently, so here's a plot hole fuck up too. When the old man has a photo of himself and the kids on the special ed bus in the same Halloween costumes that they were wearing the day they were died. It says he barely escaped the quarry alive, then disappeared. It's very unlikely that he would have developed the film or anyone else. Oh yeah, so basically this
Yeah.
is saying like, why
Who-
would he develop the pictures of this stuff and keep them around? Like
And then he's burning
that's
it.
not. I wish I would have
Yeah.
read this further before I wrote this down. Now I'm really disappointed in myself for throwing these last things
Who
together.
took that picture?
Yeah. First
Just
of all,
like
who
the
took the
moon
picture
landing.
in their Halloween costumes? And then why the hell would he have it printed? I understand. I get what they're getting at here. Again, this kind of falls into that Chucky,
Yeah, it's the
cult
whole-
of Chucky.
We're just gonna go back to that
Because
every
it's such a
time.
stupid thing that's for someone to say.
I know.
Like, it's
Too
such a
in
dumb
depth.
thing. I'm sorry. It is. And this is kind of dumb too. Like, yeah, I wouldn't, if I just murdered a bus full of kids at a quarry wearing Halloween costumes, I wouldn't go have that picture developed of them in their Halloween costumes from the day of. But how else are we supposed to convey to the viewer that this is the bus driver?
True.
Unless like we do something else. And for that matter, if he did, why the hell would he stay in the same town? Wouldn't he fucking skip town?
I don't know. That might be too obvious.
I would skip town.
Well, they
If
think
you just
he's-
killed a bus full of
Do
kids.
they think he's dead, or did he escape? And
Well, the
everybody
girl
knows
says
he
they
alive?
never found the bus driver.
True.
Remember?
So yeah,
But
why
like,
would he?
He's obviously been living there for fucking years. Like,
How
what the
did
hell?
the principal not be like, wait?
What a terrible
aren't you
criminal.
the
I didn't even think
principal
really
from-
put that together until now. Like, yeah, why the fuck would you stay
Oh,
there?
man.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm gonna do this, but if I were to murder a bus full of children, I'm probably not going to stay in the same town that I drove the bus for,
No.
right?
Everybody probably knows who you are.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'd
And,
be the
yeah.
first suspect. Like, the bus fell off a cliff. I
Yeah.
wonder who fucking did it. Maybe it's the bus driver.
Yeah. Well, especially if he's not.
He's not there.
He's missing in action.
Yeah.
Why would you just go back to your house?
Wouldn't
Like,
you
that's
notice
your
that
perfect
guy living
escape?
there though the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't
Like,
make any sense.
Especially
Like,
the principal.
hey, what
of
happened to the
school.
bus of kids that disappeared? Oh, I'm the
Oh.
different guy.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Oop, I left the oven on.
Oh my
like,
God.
it doesn't work. It just, I don't know. Okay, unless we're looking into it too much. See, we're just as bad as these people here.
They got us.
Just enjoy the movie, folks. But yes, I agree with you. I would never have the picture printed. I
Nope.
would never live in the same town. And
See
he
ya.
really picked an inconvenient night of the year, like 30, 40 years later, to burn all those pictures.
right.
Like,
Why
why didn't you do it
now?
right away?
Why now?
What? Yeah. What bug crawled up your ass that you
Sam, I
decided,
guess.
Sam?
I guess
Just
it
the
was
presence of
Sam.
him. Yeah. Why didn't he come before?
True.
Why didn't he save those kids?
I
Now
don't know.
Sam
Seemed
is
like those kids were working for Sam.
maybe
Because Sam went off and did a few other things while he came back, and those
Yeah.
kids came back and finished
kind of
the
had
job.
to build an army. I guess you're right.
Sure. I mean,
So-
you can't do it all in one night.
No,
You got to
he's like
share.
Santa, or
share
he's
the
not like
wealth.
Santa. He's a little guy. So either way, so that's it for the fuck ups. Other than those few things, I didn't really notice anything.
No.
I thought they did a pretty
Everything
good job,
else, it was clean. It was
Yeah.
like a
especially
it's
for one of
clean.
these movies that does the whole like tying everything up in a nice, pretty bow at the
Yeah.
end, where all the stories are kind of interwoven. Like,
That was good.
you know, it takes a little bit to make sure that it takes a little bit of finesse to make sure that that works out. Okay.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So jumping right into the critical reviews. So this movie currently holds an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
So pretty favorable score
is
there.
good.
Yeah. It has a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and it has a let's see, that was all I got from.
That's
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, this one kind of weirded me out because this one says that it has an average rating of 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, but this one up here says 6.8. So they must have just been recorded at different times. So around 70% on IMDb. So yeah, fairly accurate, I guess.
I like that.
I like that. Let's see. So some of the things that people said about the movie, Dead Central gave it a 5 out of 5, stating that Trick or Treat ranks alongside John Carpenter's Halloween as traditional October viewing, and I can't imagine a single horror fan that won't fall head over heels in love with it.
Bravo.
Yeah, I
Well
agree with
said.
that.
Yeah.
A deftly crafted tribute to Halloween legends, Trick or Treat hits all the genre marks with gusto and old-fashioned suspense. Not bad. The films earn a 10 out of 10 from shocktillyoudrop.com. Cool. ING called it a very well-crafted Halloween horror tribute and a scary blast, rating it a 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Bloody Disgusting ranked the film 9th in their list of top 20 horror films of the decade.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, calling it so good that its lack of theatrical so good that its lack of a theatrical release borders on criminal.
Oh.
Which I agree. I think this movie would have done really well in theaters. It would have been one of those ones like
Definitely.
people would have. I think they would have really like enjoyed. It would have been one of those ones that kind of word of mouth would have helped
Oh yeah,
spread it. I
definitely.
think, especially back then.
Back then.
You know, 2007 era. So some awards that the movie won in 2008, it won the Audience Choice Award at the Screamfest Horror Film Festival.
Nice.
And then in 2009, it won the Silver Audience Award at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. So
Bravo.
not too shabby.
Not too shabby at
Yeah,
all.
not bad for a little Halloween story movie, huh? So let's get into it. Jump into our thoughts here. So
You go first.
you want me to go first? I'll go first this time.
I always go first.
You do always go first.
You always put me on
I
the
noticed.
spot.
I always put you on the spot first. So
I wasn't prepared for this podcast. I know we schedule every Monday night.
to be fair, I usually don't give you the name of the movie until like the day of.
That's perfect. I mean, the more blind I go into this, the better.
That's kind of like what I like about it. And I always try to pick movies I haven't seen a million times. This is a little bit different just because of the holiday season and things like
for
that.
sure.
But so yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. I would. It's right up there with Halloween for me, Exorcist, and it's again like we talked about earlier. It's one of those ones that I watch every year. Solid, like, you know, I guess horror film Zach would give it a 10 out of 10. You know, film fan Zach would probably say 8 out of 10.
I gotcha.
Just because, you know, there are some issues with there are some problems here and there. Some of the acting's a little weird and things like that in spots, but other than that, I love it. All in all, I think it's I love the little tributes. If you watch it, there's slight nods to some of the older Halloween, older movies. Like there's a lot of nods to Halloween, especially in the beginning. They just show the jack-o'-lantern with the black screen. I love the fact that they brought in, and you mentioned this too, like they're not, after all this time, there wasn't really a Trick or Treat movie. Like it was
I was
kind
surprised.
it's kind of I'm surprised it took so long to kind of come about. And I love the fact that they made it this like, hey, there are all these traditions about Halloween that you need to protect and uphold that make it important. And they kind of they go back and forth to that a lot in this movie. They, the principal says, he's carving the pumpkin with the kid, and he's basically saying like, people don't respect these traditions anymore. It's all about glam and trick or treating and having fun and getting that candy. It's not about that,
Yeah.
And then it's like slowly trickle feeds you these little tidbits about Halloween that you might not have known, like, not blowing out the pumpkin pumpkins or taking down the decorations before midnight, and just a couple little things like that that hadn't really been done before. I thought that was kind of nice and it has, Sam is kind of like this anti-hero in the movie where, like, yeah, he's a mean, vicious little guy, but if you don't, he's like a bee, basically. Like, if you don't fuck with him, he's not gonna fuck with you.
Exactly. Just respect Halloween and
the traditions, and we won't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like the chick in the beginning, she blew out the pumpkin. You gotta die, lady.
We know
Sorry.
what happened to her.
Yep, we know what happened to her.
See ya.
Yep. But again, it's I like to pull this one out every Halloween and watch it, just because it makes you feel kind of like a kid again. There are not many anthology movies, and they're hard to pull off, especially ones that have a story that all tie together. And this one was done really well.
Yeah.
And none of this, there's always one or two stories that are kind of like the strong ones that make the movie, and then like another like just filler stuff. And I every single one of these stories felt really good, and it felt like it fit really well.
Yeah.
And basing it in a town that makes a big party out of Halloween every year, that was really cool to see too. So it's just, again, if you love Halloween, there's a ton of stuff to Halloween this season, and even Halloween the movie, and anything related to Halloween.
Anything orange
with pumpkins and shit, you're gonna love this movie. And I'm sure many horror fans have seen it already, and they're all nodding their head and like, yeah, we know. But it is a modern classic, I would say. Definitely. So horror fan, Zach, 10 out of 10, but film fan, I would say 8 out of 10. Word.
So I was thinking about it about 2 minutes ago, and I realized, how I always give the 10 out of 10.
Yep.
There's so many categories of the movies we've watched so far, and this one is one of those, like you said, the campy, kind of funny, goofy ones.
Yep.
So in that category, I give 10 out of 10.
There you go. Okay.
So I think maybe we need to give some categories of the horror movies we watch. Cause
I think that would work.
Because that would help me a little bit more of like, for this category of, spooky Halloween, that one was whatever. But this one, 10 out of 10 for the campiness. Yeah, and definitely it's one of those that'll be watched every Halloween.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It is. It's right up there with all those other classics that you would watch.
And I love the story, how it went to the future and then in the past, and it bounced around, and it, especially for me, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, kept me engaged. engaged, and all the funny parts too. Like,
we should. This movie is hilarious. It is just
funny.
Ridiculous. When he shoots, one of my favorite parts is when he shoots Sam with the shotgun, and the little body goes sliding and hits the wall. And, like,
Screeks.
It is, and then he
the hand.
right away. Yes, the hand. He right away he loads the shotgun again, and he blasts Sam again, because it's like they never do that in horror movies.
No.
They get the one hit and they try to run away from the killer or whatever. No, not this time, man. Brian Cox is like, I'm putting 2 more in this little fucker, and he blows his hand off, and then he gets stabbed in the foot by the hand later on. And that was the best part, where the hand's crawling, and he's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like,
and then it just backs up to the body and just
regenerates
back.
and puts him back. It's just man. And again, nods to Evil Dead and like all that shit. Like, it's just there's these little sprinkles of horror loveliness throughout that just really makes the movie
principal's
great.
Killing people with his
8
8-year-old son.
With the 8-year-old son who looks suspiciously like Chucky, It's just little things like that,
hey, Dad!
Yeah, the little redhead kid with the overalls and stuff like that. Like, it's just, there's a bunch of little things like that in there that you kind of, one of my other favorite parts is when the kids are going door to door looking for jack-o'-lanterns, and they stumble upon the adult Halloween party, and the lady's like wearing like the sexy kitten outfit, and she's like, hey, you guys want a drink? And the one kid's like, yeah, definitely.
Oh my God.
And they leave, and the chubby
parents
kid,
are humping in
the chubby kid's like, I thought I just saw Coach What's-His-Face butt fucking a pig. Like, just this crazy stuff.
And that's what would happen at
the
Halloween parties,
and
for the parents.
that's an excellent I'm surprised I forgot about this, but that was something I wanted to bring up, was like, this does a really good job of showing the two sides of Halloween, showing like the kids side where it's like the fun, creepy stories, you know, the fear of the mystery, and then like the adult side where it's just an excuse to get dressed and drink and get fucked up and like, you know, have
answering the door, giving out candy.
Yeah, right. Just having like a good fucking time. So like, you know, I thought that was kind of interesting that you saw the two extremes of Halloween from the little kid side and then all the way to like the adults where we just use it as an excuse to get loaded, which I don't need an excuse to get loaded. So.
No, but at least we can hide our faces when it's
we
Halloween.
Can hide our, it's less embarrassing on Halloween. Yeah. Kyle, it's July. What are you doing? Why are you in a vampire outfit?
Blah.
I'm drunk, blah.
I'm pale because I'm a vampire, not malnourished, blah.
Give me another beer.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's hysterical. It really is. It's you know, it has its creepy moments, it has its funny moments, it has its suspenseful moments. There's a lot in this movie that I think people will love. If you haven't seen it, go ahead, please. Go watch it now. I don't know if it's on any streaming things. I should have checked that so I could report on that. But
I never saw it on Netflix or
I never saw it on Netflix.
Halloween,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know where it would be streaming.
I mean, how much is it now on Blu-ray? Like $5?
You could probably find it in the $5-10 bin at Walmart somewhere. Yeah,
dude,
definitely.
those bins are awesome.
They are awesome.
We found a lot of cool shit in those bins.
It is. It's you know, and there's all these reports of like Netflix and all these other streaming services like downgrading the quality of the movie like slowly, like so you don't really notice it, like because you know the standard user is not going to know the difference between like a 4K and like a 1080p. Like you might not really notice the difference, but like you know. It's just kind
of one of those
things. If you want
that 4K, go get that Blu-ray.
Get that Blu-ray for the 4. Yeah. Well, now you got to get the 4K TV.
True.
You got to get the 4K Blu-ray player and then the 4K Bluray.
Man,
it's like you're looking at spending $1,000. Yeah, just fucking getting to see the movie. But either way, and then now there's like 8K monitors and shit like that. So it's gonna get crazy.
So it's gonna be like 10K, just the lens on our eyeball.
Well, yeah, basically
no screen for TVs.
I think they were saying like after 8K, there's really no benefit, especially like with 4K. If you're standing over 8 feet away from your television screen, there's no the eye can't discern the difference between 4K and 1080p from over 8 feet away.
Oh, okay.
So if like in like your situation here, it would be like right at the cusp. Like you might not want to get a 4K TV unless you want to get a big ass one, you know. That's the kind
where
of
you
thing.
Can see like the holes in their face, and, like all the pores and shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
See the shitty makeup.
Yeah, so like there's this like law of diminishing returns, basically. Like the further away from your TV you get, like the less
you need.
Your eye's gonna be able to like discern the difference between the different formats. So either way. Wow, that was a crazy sideline topic.
Just like snapped out of that.
Maybe we could edit that part out since it's at the end of the podcast.
Well,
but
the more you know.
The more you know. So you just learned a little bit about 4K resolutions and how far away your TV needs to be from your eyeballs.
Don't sit too close to the TV.
Actually, sit as close as you can if you want 4K.
If you want to go blind.
Oh, Jesus. Blind. So anyway, go check out Trick or Treat. It's not on Netflix. It's probably on Amazon Prime, but you probably got to pay for it. Your best bet's to go hunt in the Walmart bins and see if it's there. But definitely give the movie some love. It deserves it, and let's continue to make it a cult classic because it deserves that title.
You should follow it on social media and follow us on social media.
That's right. We need to start closing our podcast out with that. Yeah. Good point.
It's all the High Horror Society's Facebook. Twitter,
Instagram,
YouTube. I think it's
Spotify, iTunes, Podbean,
everywhere. Podbean, Soon to be our own website.
All over the place, man. We are going worldwide.
We're coming for you.
We're coming for you. We're not coming for you. But but yes, go watch Trick or Treat. Go check us out on social media, and everyone I hope you had a safe and happy Halloween.
Yes, definitely. Peace.
Peace out.
It's the High Horror Society. It's the High Horror Society.